Migrating to another country, to living, to enjoying the success of overcoming fear of taking the first step to living in a foreign land with the idea of an estranjero.
The needs of Australian in building the economy are engineers, nurses, and CPA.
Which we have a lot.
Which we have a lot.
Migrate, work, succeed.
Ayon sa datos, number 1 ang US sa top 10 destinations kung saan maraming Pinoy ang nagmamigrate at pumapangalawa lamang ang Canada.
This program aims to highlight the sacrifices, the toughest loopholes that every immigrant has gone through to achieve their present stature.
Dahil gusto ko pumunta sa ibang bansa, gusto ko mag-travel, gusto ko mag-explore. Ang dami kong gustong matutunan. At isa pa din yung gusto ko matutunan yung
This will document how lives have been touched and improved, including that of their other family members whom they have been instruments of change.
It's not that difficult.
Parang
Without any hassle. So how do you find it?
gusto ko yun kasi malay mo, di ba?
Migrate, work, succeed.
Tunghayan po natin ngayon ang panayam ni Chris Buenaventura sa isa nating very successful na IT person na ngayon ay nakabase na sa Australia. Siya po ay si Risa Balatbat. Ito po sila.
Hi, my name is Chris Buenaventura and I'm the Director of Nexus Immigration.
And I'm Risa Balatbat, Nexus Immigration previous client. I've been working for 13 years as an IT professional. Right after I got my visa, Chris picked me up from the airport. I had free accommodation and lodging and free tour for a couple of weeks. And then after that, I immediately put my application form to various companies on the internet. And just within 1 week, I got a call from a client. Right after my first interview, they called me after an hour to say that you're hired. When can you start? Can you start on Monday? As simple as that.
This is a statement coming from straight from the horse's mouth. So I got that from Miss Risa Balatbat, who is currently working now in news.com.au. It's a big company. So who says Filipino cannot make it? If Risa can make it, you can do it.
Gusto ko din maka-experience ng ganun. Na ganung klaseng trabaho, di ba? Kasi para ibang field naman.
Yeah, I think if others were able to do it,
You can do it!
You can do it right now. Oh, you can do it right now. You can do it right now.
To each and every one of you. I'm Nina Kim San, one of the consultant here at Nexus Immigration. A graduate of Australian University in Migration Law, graduate of Accounting in University of in Sydney, a former registered migration agent in Australia with the license number 096129, a former licensed immigration advisor in New Zealand with license number 20091101, an Australian citizen, and our Nexus Immigration Director, Mr. Chris Buenaventura.
And thank you for introduction, Miss. Now, we have a lot of program in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, even Ireland or UK. But for today, we're going to focus more on Australia and Canada because what we put in advertisement is more on Quebec Skilled Worker Program. Now, I know a lot of you are nurses. So if you can raise your hand so we can, count how many nurses we have in the room. Nurse 1, 2, 3. Ang dami, almost 40% I think ng room, ano? And your target country, is it Australia or New Zealand or Canada? Canada. Okay, that's good. So we have a good news. I've read from, I think, GMA Network. We posted in Facebook that they're looking for 20,000. Actually, that was open since August 22 this year. Matagal na siya, pero more people just trying to understand what is the whole, what QSW is all about. No? So QSW stands for Quebec Skilled Worker Program. So maraming provincial nominee program, which is called PNP. There's Federal Skilled Worker Program. There's Saskatchewan program. But what we normally offer is the Quebec. So the requirements for Quebec is pretty simple. So they say if you have 6 months work experience in nursing and less than 35 years old, you may be eligible to apply. No? But it depends on the point system. If you have relative in Canada, that's additional point. If you have education in Canada, or if you have a bachelor degree here or master's degree, that's another point. No? So that's why we need to qualify you. So Nexus Immigration, we've been in the company for the last, I think, more than 5 years. We started year 2008. And we have more than 400 visa approved in Australia, New Zealand, and some other countries. So marami ng visa. If you want to check, it's posted in our Facebook. But if you're gonna count, if it's really 400, it's not 400 because some people don't want to post their visa. No, it's some others they want to keep it as confidential. No? Now our head office is in Australia, in Sydney, Australia, number 1. I think level 32 Market Street. So just in case you went to Australia and you're doing a work and study sa Sydney, I'll be the person, I'm the best person to talk to since most students there, they want to extend their visa kasi they can only afford 6 months, di ba? It's very expensive to study for 1 year. So if you cannot pay for the whole year, just come to my office in level 32 in Sydney, so I can be able to help you to extend your visa with working permit. No? Now, we have a total 16 staff here in Philippines. We have office in Cebu, and we're planning to expand probably in Davao or some other part of the Philippines. Now, in Sydney, we started last 2009. Then we registered our business in Australian Business Registrar with ABN number 17379-351-586, just in case you want to verify the legitimacy of the office. So you can just Google or go to abr.gov.au, it's a government agency, to check the business. Now, before I go to the next slide, I would like to let you know that Nexus Immigration is not a recruitment agency. A lot of people are asking from Facebook, hiring po ba kayo, sir? Or can you find me a work? So we normally reply, thank you for your inquiry. We are not employment or recruitment agency. What we do is we're gonna help you to get a visa. So simple, plain, black and white, a visa lang. Now, Miss Lou already mentioned my credentials, so I'm gonna skip this part. Anyway, I studied in Australian Migration Law in Australian National University. Probably some of you will study in this school if you want to take a masteral or postgraduate course. I will elaborate the benefit of graduating sa university. Kasi mayroong permanent residency pathway. If you study for 2 years ng bachelor, you'll be eligible for grad visa for 2 years. Talagang full-time work. No? That's why we call it work and study. Kasi study, after studying, mag-work ka na talaga ng full-time. After that, you'll be eligible to apply for permanent residency. So, ang ganda, di ba? 2 years study, 2 years work, apply ng PR. So, ganun lang kasimple. Now, we have our own registered migration agent who will do the legal process. Now, if you go to some other office, they will process your paper, but that person is not really, let's say, is not eligible or not knowledgeable about legal process of migrating. Like, probably he didn't study overseas in Australia, or he's not a registered migration agent. No? So his license is 0961599. So we have more than 5 migration agents in Australia. No? Then, if you're gonna study, you don't need RMA. You just need Australian Registered Education Counselor. So si Ms. Laureen Uy, our counselor, she's here in the Philippines. And once na nilodge yung visa application nyo, sa last part ng visa application, meron dong question, who is your education counselor? If you left this blank, the case officer will think na you did it by yourself, di ba? What if they refuse the visa application? Sino magcha-challenge sa case officer? Or sino mag-a-appeal? Remember, student visa is not appealable. Any temporary resident visa, which is student visa, non-appealable. Hindi nyo pwedeng i-appeal sa MRT or Migration Review Tribunal. It's not appealable. The biggest advantage, if you apply in Nexus, we have 5 RMA, one education counselor, we can challenge the case officer. Let's say, na-deny yung visa nyo. No, kasi we are denying your visa, or you have a visa refusal letter coming from Department of Immigration, Border Protection, because you did not satisfy the requirement, which is a genuine student. So how will you define a genuine student? It's very in general, di ba? Pero kami, it's very simple. Genuine student has the intention to study and will return to his country. And he has the capacity to pay for the cost of living, tuition fee, airfare. So, ganun lang kasimple. No? So, if the case officer refused your visa, we can help you appeal yung sa application. So we've done a lot of appeal. This year, we have 99% na approved, may 1% na na-deny, pero we were able to challenge the case officer, then in return, binigyan siya ng visa. Na. So countries we normally represent is Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and we have USA as well. So if you want to do work and study in USA, we have school in Boston Bay College, in Boston, and one in, I think, San Diego, California. No. So it's a bachelor courses. You can do work and study then. You can work 20 hours in US, but you have to study. Kasi that's the only way to get a working permit. No? If you're gonna go there as tourist visa, hindi kayo pwede magtrabaho po. No? So kailangan meron kayong working permit. So the only way is through student visa. Unless you have a sponsor willing to sponsor you. But it's really difficult to get a sponsor kasi why will they hire overseas people when they have a lot of qualified people and highly skilled pa nasa US, di ba? Pag student visa kayo, the immigration will accept you. Then, once you are in US or Canada or those countries, you have the opportunity to work na. Now, what are those in-demand courses? There's a lot of courses like, I have a client, he said he wants to be I think, astronaut or something, or physicist. Now, as of now, sa Australia and New Zealand, it's not in-demand yung physicist. Now, what we market is yung in-demand lang, so we will not waste your time. Now, discussing, trying to study BS psychology or BS education, di ba? It's pointless kasi simple reason, there's no way for you to become permanent resident with those courses. Okay? Number 1 is childcare, second is aged care, third one is accounting, fourth one business, fifth one IT, hospitality, engineer, bachelor of business. So let's say, consider this one as an option 1 if you don't want to go to Canada. We would recommend aged care. Why aged care? Aged care kasi you're gonna get your 100 hours on the job training every Saturday, probably sa Rockdale Home Care Center, or probably Westmead Hospital sa New South Wales. It's not paid. That's why you have to work. No? So pag nagtrabaho kayo, like one of our clients, si Mr. Kenneth Sunico, he was getting $17.50 per hour sa Four Seasons Hotel. Na. So sa hotel, mostly, mga jobs ng mga nurse, nasa hotel sila. Iba naman sa call center. With $17 an hour, let's say $20 an hour na lang, probably you're gonna get times 20, so $400 per week. You know? So it's enough not to make a living. You know? Now, application process, we made it simple, but it's really difficult. Like, you need IELTS, you need OET, then you need enrollment, letter of offer, you need different type of representations at school. Let's say, Sir Chris, ang tuition fees, I cannot afford the $6,000. It's very expensive. So come to me. I'll talk to the school principal and we can do a deal. Let's say, how much can you pay? I can only pay $3,000 or half of it. That's okay. I'm going to talk back to the principal. And Mr. John Smith only has $3,000 for the tuition fee. Can you release a letter of offer? O sige, Christine, sa matagal naming client, we're going to grant your request. So it's much easier sa Nexus. We can negotiate sa school. No? Step-by-step process. So step 1, once you are happy with the process, or you know the process, there's only 30% payment. Ano? So it's hulugan siya. It's not, if you go to some other consultancy, they will be asking for the 100% fee kagad. No? Kasama hindi, 30% muna. Then step 2, we will enroll you sa IELTS. No, so you need to know what kind of IELTS. Is it ACAD or GT? Is it OET? I don't want to go to IELTS. I want to study OET. A or B by requirements. We're going to explain it to you. Then step 3, pay the stage 2 of 40%. And Nexus will enroll you to the school. No? So steps 4, Nexus will assist you in filling out the visa application. Remember, yung na-mention ko kanina, if wala kayong representative dun sa immigration, sa Australian immigration, case officer will think na you did it by yourself, which is, it's okay to do it by yourself, pero it will be good if you're gonna get legal help from others, especially for Nexus, since we have 99% approval. Now, step 5, if you get the visa, then that's the only time you need to pay in full. So, yung last payment pag may visa na kayo. Okay. Then step 6, we did not stop from getting you a visa. We have additional services since we have office in Sydney. So Nexus will organize your flight. So we're gonna help you how to find the cheapest airfare. I have a client who went there last, I think 2 weeks ago. He found the cheapest one, but I think 3 legs, like he has to stop in Singapore, Darwin, then Darwin back to Sydney. So he only pays $600, pero he has to travel for 2 days. No, I'm not sure if worth yon. Pero $300 kasi Qantas is only $900. Eh. So, Qantas ka na lang para 8 hours lang yung travel. No? So we have a lot of clients. If you can see sa Facebook, some of them are permanent resident. Na some of them are student. I think 80% are student dahil hindi naman lahat ng Pinoy is highly skilled. Eh, no? Pag gusto nyo mag-migrate, kailangan highly skilled kayo. Like 5 years work experience, registered. Let's say, sa IT na lang, ano, you need to be a good programmer. Let's say C++, C#, or basic, Visual Basic. May 5 years experience sa international company like Accenture, IBM, or SGV. No? Pag nag-work ka lang sa, let's say, top 10,000 corporation, I'm not sure if they will honor your experience. Another thing is you need to be a license. Pag engineer ka, you need to have a PRC license. Plus, you have to be an engineer sa Australia rin, and sa New Zealand, and sa Canada din. No? So we're gonna help you with the whole process. So mahirap mag-migrate. Some of my clients, 5 years no, sa Australia, nag-aantay pa rin ng visa. May client kami, 2 months lang inabot, approve kagad. No? So depende. So this is our client. I personally picked them up sa airport. If you can see, I'm wearing a blue jumper or jacket. So that's the airport. The first thing I suggest them is to buy a SIM card. Kasi after that, we're gonna separate. I'm gonna leave her sa accommodation, then I'm gonna go back to my house. The only way to communicate or give the legal advice is through telephone. Ano? So yeah, pinikap ko siya. As you can see, she's very happy with a big smile. Tapos meron na siyang visa. Yay! Nasa Australia na ako. So if you can see accommodation, social, di ba? Ganda. So Oaks Harmony Apartment. Ibang accommodation, they will give you $250 per week. But this one is only $125. Mura-mura siya, no? I can scout the cheaper school because I live in Sydney. I've been there in Sydney for the last 18 years, no? Alam ko yung pinakamurang school and malapit sa... pinakamurang accommodation and pinakamalapit sa school. So I measure this one, it's only, I think, 30 steps accommodation. So hindi ilalayo, no? Then, as you can see, the blue monitor, merong transport orientation. Kasi let's say, you're gonna go sa London, tapos merong mga motor, MRT, train station. Paano sumakay ng train papuntang from London up to another suburb? Di ba parang hirap? Diba? Without any guidance. So sa amin, since I live in Sydney, we're gonna brief you. Meron kaming pre-departure orientation service. Ano? Then we represent over 3,000 colleges and 10 universities. Kasi in TAFE pa lang, they have more than 3,000 colleges na across Australia, no? And New Zealand meron din. Ang dami is like Griffith University if you want to take your MBA, University of Sydney if you want to be a good accountant, so you can be a CPA, University of Technology in Sydney if you want to study IT or engineering course, Australian National University if you want to study law. So ang dami. So we're gonna refer a good school. No, so when I say good school, it's cheaper. It's cheaper. No? So if you're gonna find schools, internet lang, it's gonna be expensive. You can see $22,000. No, wag yun, no? Kasi we know a cheaper colleges owned by multinational company rin, pero cheap sila. I mean, affordable, no? Free services kasama sa lahat. So we're gonna give you 20 job referrals. One of our client is Elmer. He was able to secure a job in just 11 days. Mabilis lang yung process kasi email ko lang sa inyo application. And all you need to do, attach your resume, click apply, then send submit. Following day, someone will call you. Sabihin nila, I would like to book an appointment for you if you're available for interview. Ang bilis ng job doon. No? Then free airport pick up if you get the deluxe package. No? Usually it's $150. Accommodation, IELTS test review, immigration tips is very important. Like after a student visa, what will happen to you? You don't know, di ba? Sa amin, we will tell you. Then you cannot work without tax file number. It's very important to have a tax file number. No? Then most salary directly go sa bangko ninyo. So we're gonna tell you yung bangkong walang monthly service fee. Na? Kasi may bangko, $5 you have to pay. Makikita mo yung pera mo, lumiliit na lang, 200, naging 195. The next month, from 195, naging 190 na lang. Sayang yung $5. And then free membership to Nexus Social and Migrant Club. Social club namin is we go normally sa Blue Mountains, then sa Snowy Mountains during winter. Nag-i-ski kami. Then sometimes sa Sydney Opera House. Darling Harbor, meron kami picture-picture. So makikita nyo sa Facebook namin. Then in the future, you're gonna be in our Facebook page din. Then free access to Australian sponsor. So ito yung database na who can sponsor you for 5-7 visa. Na? So where can I work full-time? So we have, in Australia, the education framework is 2 semesters. First sem, January, first sem term 1, January to April. Then sem 1, term 2, April to June. Pagdating ng July, study ulit, semester 2 yun, ano? Hindi tri-sem. So sem 2, term 1, the September, semester 2, term 2. Kahit saan kayo pumasok, let's say today is November 23, so probably next term is January. So January kayo pupunta na Australia or pag na-approve yung visa na. Then sem break every 4 weeks. No? So total of 2 months. So why Nexus? It's better because you're gonna be hiring Australian qualified Australian education counselor. So ito yung binabayaran ninyo. No? So graduate siya sa university sa Australia and licensed siya, education counselor. No? With license number G195. Siya yung representative. Faster because we have office here in Philippines, Ortigas Center and Cebu. Then we have headquarters in Sydney. Then cheaper because we are not third-party marketing agency. No? We are immigration consultants. Safer because your application investment are safer compared to using unregistered education counselor. Yung ginagamit nila. No? Then Nexus' biggest advantage, we have a recruitment agency back in Sydney, Australia. So once you get there, if you're IT and you want a full-time job, we have a accredited professional recruiter in Australia and New Zealand with license number 65438. So remember, if the recruitment agency is not accredited by professional, they're not registered sa Australia. No? So comparison table, ang dami. So na-explain ko na. So let's go to the typical question. Ano ba yung jobs? If you can read this one, assistant in nursing, $22 an hour. Sa allied healthcare. So Seek.com.au lang ang job search engine. You can easily go there. No? Type nyo lang aged care. Lalabas na yan. No? So, ang dami trabaho. Let's say, allowed work per week is 20 hours. Some of my students working 40 or 60 hours. Then hourly rate, sabihin na natin 25 na lang kasi yung call center sales agent sa dulo. As you can see, it's 20 to 25. So, ito yung mga Vodafone, Telstra, tech support. Hello, welcome to Telstra. How can I help you? Yung mga ganun lang, simple jobs. So, weekly income, calculated, $500. No? Then, multiply by 4, so $2,000, times 6 months. Kasi 6 months lang yung gusto niya eh. 6 months lang yung afford niya. So, you're gonna get 12,000 times 41 pesos into peso, converted to peso, 492. Sabihin natin $500,000. Anong gagawin niyo sa $500,000? So, itong $500,000 na to, your 6 months earning will be able to fund your next course. Na? So, enroll uli, 28 days before your visa expire. Sabihin ko pag nasa Australia na kayo, 28 days, enroll nyo na kagad. So, bayaran nyo lang yung school. No? So, typical weekly expense. So, similar to sa Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So, ganyan. Normally, food, 120 kung malakas kayo kumain. Kung hindi, probably half, $60 lang. Rent in Sydney CBD, Toronto, Canada, and New Zealand in Auckland, it's the same, 125 din. Well, may 150, pero syempre you have to look for the cheaper one. Miscellaneous, let's say, pa Starbucks coffee or something else, 50. So weekly expense niya is $300 no? Or $295. Pero magkano yung earnings? 500, di ba? So weekly expense, $295. So meron pa yung savings ng 200 a week, na 205. So in 6 months, you're gonna have a savings of 201,000. So ano gagawin nyo sa savings niyo? 201. Bigyan nyo sa mami nyo, mami, pambayad ng utang. Mabayaran na yung inutang natin doon. O, di ba ganda? Na? So it only shows that it's feasible and you can earn. No? Ako, I've been in Australia for the last 18 years na eh. I can see a lot of students extend kasi kulang yung pera niya. 6 months, sir, 6 months ulit, 6 months ulit, 6 months ulit. Mas maganda if you can study 1 year. No? So, thank you for Australia. I'm gonna start with Canada. Any question for Australia and New Zealand? Same process lang naman yun. Wala pang question. Wala. So, in Canada, we also accept student visa. So, if you wanna apply, let's say, health management course, they also have diploma in accounting or diploma in management. So, you can work 20 hours then per week. Same cost, same expenses. But the evidence of funds should be in the bank for the last 4 months. And the proof of funds na kailangan is $10,000 a year, which is much cheaper if you don't want to migrate. Okay, so as of now, they're really in great demand. 15,000, I think, sa nursing. Then the rest of 5,000 is a mixed occupation, like probably teachers, IT, engineers. Nandun yung sa 5,000 na yan. They allotted a lot of people sa nurses kasi it's a growing population. It's an old country. That's why they need more, someone to take care, their elder. No? So to qualify, similar to Australia, there's a point system. Okay? So single applicant must score 49 points on the criteria, and applicant with spouse must score at least 57. So depende, so na-calculate you kung qualified kaya to migrate. Also, Ma'am Lou. So they're gonna be asking how long you've been working, what course, do you hold a PRC? So most of nurses are holding PRC naman, diba? PRC card. Okay. So Quebec Skilled Worker Program, they started last August nga. It's really, really new. It's bago, but it will end by March. So matatapos siya ng March. I'm hoping na before March, na-submit nyo na yung visa application sa Canada, sa CIC. No? Kasi 3 months ang selection, CSQ na tinatawag na selection criteria. Yung selection criteria, let's say nag-apply kayo tomorrow, so you have to fill out the form. I think it's more than 24 pages. Then we're gonna send it sa, no? Kung nag-apply kayo in November, probably by Feb, marireceive nyo yung letter. Or more, no? But by March, close na yung application. Wala na yan. No? Probably, let's say nasaraduhan kayo, it'll be better if you're gonna apply for other program, let's say Federal Skilled Worker Program or some other programs sa Canada. No? So education, I think some of you, alam niyo na ito yan, diba? No? So up to 12 points. No? Areas of training, mahabang listahan yan, areas of training, 16 points. If you don't have job offer, it's okay. No? But if you have, may additional points. Work experience, the higher, the better. Okay? Age, up to 16 points. The younger, the higher. No? Language, some of people will tell you not necessarily IELTS and French, but when you apply, remember there's a points test. There's additional points if you reach higher IELTS score and higher French test. So we're gonna help you how to get the French test. It's very simple lang naman. It's not required, but it's an additional point. Spouse characteristics, and the children up to 8 points na. Then financial sufficiency. Ito yung tinatawag na sa federal skill, you need to have at least $500,000. Pero dito, you don't need proof of funds or evidence of funds. That's why, if I were you, I'm gonna take advantage of this one. Kasi once you're in Canada, you can travel naman USA, holding a Canadian passport. You can work in within actually sa Quebec lang na. Pag citizen na kayo, I think you can go anywhere na in Canada. So selection factor will be discussed one by one to each applicant kasi it's really different. Ano? So, master's degree. Sino po yung may master's degree na would like to Canada? Most of you are bachelor, no? Bachelor. It's all right kasi you're gonna get 10 points. Undergrad diploma, no? 10 points. Undergrad ito yung bachelor. No? Hindi pa gumraduate. Areas of training, the higher, they start at A, classification, the higher yung points. Na? Ito yung mga, I think, tradesman or professional. Section G, ito yung mga technician, clerical work, or everything. Pero as of now, mas maganda kung 3 areas lang, nurses, IT, and engineers. Kasi yun yung current needs nila. So if you have worked more than 4 years, you're gonna get higher points. Anyone below 43, above 43, 0 points. But don't worry, kasi yung spouse ninyo will take into consideration. Ika-count pa rin yung points nila. So don't worry about that. No? So this is what I'm saying. Sabi ni ba, hindi kailangan ng French. Yeah, it's not really needed, but it's an additional points. Let's say, French speaking, yung highly proficient kayo, you're gonna get the highest points, di ba? Then another classification, if you stay and you have a family in Quebec, you're gonna get the points. Na? Spouse or de facto. When you say de facto, I'm not sure how you call this one here in the Philippines, but in de facto is if you're living under one roof No? De facto kayo. Kanina ba? Ay, live-in partner. Kasi you're living together. So, live-in, tama na. So, master's degree, additional 3 points. Maganda kung meron kayong masters. Ikaw. Financial self-sufficiency. Siyempre, it will be practical if you will bring money kasi you're gonna look for a job within 3 months, then saan nyo kukunin yung foods, accommodation, and some other budget, no? So they will ask you how much you will bring to Canada. Magkano yung dadalhin nyo, no? So that's all. So probably this section here will go to Ma'am Je, and this section here will go here. Any question?